What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at Dash, and today is January 10th of 2018. Well, folks, it's time for a daily update here on the Dash channel, and today we've got a lot to discuss. First and foremost, as always, we'll be taking a look at market valuations as well as doing some price analysis on the market leaders. But along with that as well, we have got a lot to talk about in regards to headlines in the cryptocurrency space. First and foremost, the infamous investor Warren Buffett coming up today and finally talking about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies again, however, coming out with quite the bearish statement, at least in regards to the long term of cryptocurrencies. We'll be taking a look at that later on in the video. And along with that as well, Telegram and Kodak, two major companies, coming out with plans for their next ICO. So we'll be taking a look at those later on, talking about their ambitions and what they're practically trying to bring to blockchain technology. All right, so we've got a lot to talk about, guys. Let's go ahead and dive into the update. So first and foremost, taking a look here at markets, I think we all know over the past 24 to 48 hours, things have been relatively on the side. As we can see, if we take a look here at the 24-hour change, we do have some players like Walton, VeChain, EOS, a lot of more enterprise-based solutions still doing quite well in the market, and some that may be still undervalued. But taking a look here, we can see that there are a lot of players in the red over the past few hours. So most of the market is hanging towards the side, maybe cooling off a little bit, or we have a few players down here as well doing a little bit in the green. But we do have some serious players here correcting and taking a cut in their valuation, predominantly players like Tron. Tron was much overdue for a correction in my opinion. But again, you've got a lot of players like that in this market, guys. We've had an amazing altcoin rally. And speaking on that, I want to take a look here at valuations in the market. So as you all know, we had the correction the other day that was really kind of initiated by the website we're using right now, CoinMarketCap, removing Korean exchange values, and because of that causing a little bit of fear in the market and really spawning, I think, honestly, a needed healthy correction in cryptocurrencies. And as we can see now, the selling seems to have stopped around $700 billion, and it's looking like we might curve back up. Now, the whole sign I'm looking for here in regards to going back to test towards our ultimate goal of $1 trillion for cryptocurrencies would be that hopefully we can get market valuations over this previous resistance around 768 something to $770 billion. If we can get back up there again, I think that that's a good sign. And it's looking like we've almost in a sense had a double bottom here and we want to move higher. But again, always keep wary, guys, that markets could move down here. We have had a very, very fantastic run up. So please don't get carried away with the altcoin rally. And to really emphasize the altcoin side of things, just taking a look at the chart here over the past 3 months, it has been an amazing run up. So again, don't let it carry you. Don't let yourself get carried away by it and stuff. Again, rallies can and all the exuberance that has built up those rallies can make up the difference in just a few days. And I really want to talk about this now that we're taking a look at what we've been discussing for quite some time, and that is the Bitcoin dominance chart here on CoinMarketCap, or generally the cryptocurrency market cap dominance. And we can see that Bitcoin has been on a slippery slope for the past month. We've been seeing altcoins continue to grow through this rally, and because of that, the other coin factor, which we talked about, got very close to our target at 24.39%, or we were aiming for 25%. Now that number again could go up, guys, but to be fair with you all, as we step down here to the monthly, the selling has, or at least the slowdown in Bitcoin has really started to stop comparative to altcoins. We've started to see Bitcoin's dominance remain practically the same for the past week, probably a percentage off from where it is now. However, a few weeks ago, we were seeing Bitcoin lose dominance anywhere from 8 to 10% each given week. So this is showing that altcoins are slowing down. The momentum is not dying, but definitely getting a little more reasonable. And Bitcoin, which we're going to take a look at here, is showing a lot of technical signs of strength, price strength confirmation that it wants to possibly move higher. So I want to go ahead, dive into the video, and let's go ahead and talk about the technical side of things and start off with Bitcoin. So speaking on Bitcoin here, a lot of people had messaged me last night. I always get messages from people when I'm asleep or if I'm waking up early in the morning. People are like, Nick, you got to check the market. Bitcoin has now dropped below the 50 days you've been talking about. And again, guys, when, as we can see back here, for example, when Bitcoin did find support at the 50-day, really for 2 different time periods over the past few weeks, you can obviously see that it dips below it. But luckily, we got what I expected would probably happen, as it has over the past 2 times, and that is a rebound off the 50-day. So, of course, you're never going to, with the differences in exchanges, and the different spread in regards to the price that people are paying for Bitcoin, you're never going to get people trading finite on the indicators. Not to mention, indicators are not finite as well. It doesn't mean the 50 day is it's either going to trade there forever or it's going to break down below and end all for Bitcoin. No, it's just a general way to kind of assess strength in the sense of price action, and we can tell that right now that this is the third time as of now that we've seen Bitcoin hold on the 50 day. It's a very healthy sign for Bitcoin. Now, it could completely go against what it's doing right now. Someone could start selling and it could go back down below the 50 day. But we're not bearish on it, or at least I'm not, if you're trying to follow what my perspective is on the market. I'm not bearish on this market, or at least Bitcoin, until it has a close below the 50 day. And we haven't really seen that. We sort of saw it back here, but instantly afterwards, if you were watching on the hourly, it bounced right back. And again, I think this is, as much as I would love to see Bitcoin go down and correct more, I don't think it's going to happen. I think altcoins are quite overextended, and that Bitcoin is not only going to suck out a lot of that overhyped valuation and speculative valuation, but along with that as well, we're going to see Bitcoin hopefully, again, as we've talked about, retest the highs up here at 20,000. Again, it might be taking some time to do so and giving altcoins room to run. But again, guys, even though you might be doubling your money, tripling it, or whatever you might be making in regards to your altcoin investments, again, those profits, if you're looking to cash them out to Bitcoin later on, are not solidified until you make the trade, until you make the confirmation that you are going to be locking in those profits. Don't get carried away. Don't let the exuberance get to you. Again, like I've told you all, I have moved a lot of my trading positions, not my long-term altcoin positions, but my long-term, my swing trade positions in altcoins. I've moved a lot of those profits out and put them back into both a solidified long-term position on Bitcoin, my 20% that I usually keep in my portfolio, as well as generally just having it on the side, because I think Bitcoin is a fine cryptocurrency to watch right now. It is not up 2 or 3 times its valuation within a week. Again, that's altcoins. They have a lot more room to run up, but again, I think Bitcoin is that solidified investment that people are, as they're making a ton of money, the institutions are starting to turn back and go, yeah, it's probably time to start cashing out and start locking our profits. And I think we've seen that with Tron. I think we've seen that with Ripple. I think we're seeing that with Verge and a lot of other coins that have just absolutely mooned. The guys who bought early on are looking to lock in those profits and really make that Bitcoin comparative increase a reality. And it isn't a reality until you lock it in. So I think Bitcoin's holding strong. I think we could get a rebound off here. I don't know how fast, but I'm, again, still very bullish on Bitcoin at these levels. We've had a healthy correction in 3 major time periods over the past few weeks where it is held on the 50-day, a very, very strong sign of price strength confirmation. And so long as we hold there, I'm very bullish on it. And this is going to, of course, lead to probably an easy explanation as to my position on a lot of other cryptocurrencies. Ethereum, doing very well. We've had, again, another parabolic run up into crypto. But to be fair, guys, as you can probably tell here, not only do you have a resistance at 10 million Satoshis, but we're well over $1,000 for Ethereum. I think around 1,300 right now. And to be fair, even though I like Ethereum long term, much like a lot of other cryptocurrencies, again, it's quite overextended here. You're far away from any of the moving averages that are just curving up. And because of that, they're so extended from price that there's no support level outside of previous price levels. So maybe Ethereum can find support at 7 million Satoshis, but other than that, I don't really see a consistent price level that it can fall to. Again, that's where it held for quite some time, and that's really the only serious price level I can find. So right at this level, kind of bearish on Ethereum. That's just my personal opinion. But again, you guys got to assess it for yourself. If you want to take the risk of trading it, you still think it's going to do well and go to $2,000 or $3,000, that's the case, and that's fine. I don't see it happening, though, over the next week or so. All right, so let's go ahead here, take a look at Ripple. Again, Ripple, as we talked about, going through the profit-taking phase right now. It's been obviously on an overall extended and parabolic run-up. And because of that, you're getting people locking in profits. You've got people who bought down here, these huge volume candles coming in, and they're starting to lock in some of their profits, as they probably were over here, as well as people were still buying. So again, the price is on the upside, guys. It's repeating what it has done in history. I don't know if we're going to have this decline run down over the next few months. However, I do know that Ripple is quite extended at these levels. So please be careful. I'm not long on Ripple, but again, you've got to assess whether or not you want to buy it at these levels. I wouldn't play it. All right, so next up, Bitcoin Cash here. Let's go ahead and take a look here. This is doing exactly what we talked about the other day in regards to the bounce off the 100-day. We were hoping that this would possibly get a little bit of a breakout and this could be a good trade. To be fair with you all, I never did move through and actually make a trade on Bitcoin Cash. However, I will say that I definitely still consider making a trade on it. I don't think it's reached our full target of around 25 million Satoshis. However, what we need to see here is for it to pull back down to a reasonable level here. And I'm thinking that that reasonable level could possibly be around 14 million Satoshis, or sorry, not 14 million, I apologize, around 16 million Satoshis coming back down here and seeing if it can hold higher levels on the lows and again, not revisit all the way down here. And if we can do that, if we can hold it around this area for a while, I think we could get a continued breakout. But again, it really matters to whether or not it can hold 17 million Satoshis or 16 million Satoshis where we've seen previous support in the past. So that's generally what I'm watching for, somewhere around that range. I don't want to buy it now that it's popped up a few million Satoshis. I want to wait for it to correct. And if it does, then I'll look for an opportunity on it. But again, I trade where I feel comfortable on in regards to price. So next up, ADA BTC, Cardano. Cardano thankfully going through a very, very needed and healthy correction. Again, you guys know I love this project long term, but ADA was quite overextended for where it is right now. Right now we're testing it at around a $20 billion valuation. That's what it's showing as on CoinMarketCap. And I personally believe it could be worth way more than that in the future, but for now, Cardano needs a pullback. It does. It's just like a lot of other market players that have just been going up and up and up. And again, I think it's an awesome opportunity if it continues to correct to potentially, maybe look towards building a long-term position. I know I definitely am going to add a solidified long-term position when this comes down to the 50-day. And look where the 50 days coming up, around 3,500 Satoshis as well as 4,000 Satoshis. So wherever it ends up being over the next few days, if we get a correction down to that level, that would be fantastic. That'd be more than a 50% correction in the price from 8,000 to 9,000 Satoshis. Again, a very nice pullback for Cardano, so I would definitely consider it. But it looks like it's rolling over here, so I'm not buying it right now. I definitely want to buy it when the momentum picks up to the downside, the selling pressure starts to come in, and we start seeing some of that volume come in, a little bit of the profit taking, and I would definitely ride it up for the next wave and stuff, guys. Love Cardano long term, but again, not buying any right here, so keep patient. All right, so we've taken a look at the market leaders here. Let's go ahead and dive into the headlines. First and foremost, I've had a lot of people reach out to me and ask to talk about the whole Warren Buffett statement where he said, I would buy a 5-year put on every cryptocurrency. And for simple talk, that's basically meaning that he would bet against cryptocurrencies in the long term. He does not have an optimistic view on it in the long term. Now, a put is a form of an option. Again, I probably don't have the time to go into details on options in this entire video. However, again, much like how, for example, you'd go long on something, you'd buy something, you're bullish on something. In the sense of being bearish on something, a put option is what you would do if you were wanting to bet or have the option in regards to betting on the market and stuff rather than just going directly short. Options are things that you can exercise, and they can actually help mitigate risk comparative to what most people usually commonly believe with options. But anyways, I was rambling on there about options, but that's a topic for another time. Basically, he came out and basically said that he, to be fair, doesn't understand the technology in regards to cryptocurrencies. It's much like Amazon and a lot of other tech companies back in the day that he had been, told about and he didn't invest in, and now, of course, he regrets it not investing in Amazon and a lot of other companies. But I gotta say, again, I think a lot of people will be hostile to jump on Warren Buffett. I think out of most finance figures in the world, he's someone that, and this is someone who does not like traditional finance, and most players in traditional finance, he's a consistent person. And I admire the fact that he's not going to invest in something he doesn't understand. I would wish and hope, it seems like he's getting asked a lot, and it's funny enough in the video, he talks about how he's going to different schools and stuff, and talking to a variety of kids about financial literacy and investing, and a lot of people are asking about Bitcoin, and I'm kind of shocked that, seeing as he's a very long-term blue chip investor and he spends a lot of time, I've researched it into Warren Buffett and how much he spends time in regards to research and finding, gems for the long term. I'm surprised he hasn't spent some time to understand blockchain technology, because I think if you really sit down and you have the mindset that Warren Buffett does, which is a very admirable one that can see into the long-term potential of things, I think he'd really benefit from just understanding what blockchain is and understanding some applications for it. But again, he's quite negative on it and stuff. And as someone who is optimistic, and here's what what he said in regards to wanting to purchase put options in regards to betting against cryptocurrencies in the long term. Well, though he doesn't really have the options right now to do that on a mass scale for all cryptocurrencies, I can guarantee to Warren right now that in the next year or two, even though the SEC is being a little stubborn about it right now, there is going to be a variety of both ETFs and general indexes for cryptocurrencies that are going to be traded on the institutional level. And I would be sure as hell to know that there's going to be call and put options available for that index in the future, which will allow you to trade the price action and change in valuation of all those cryptocurrencies or the overall cryptocurrency market. So if Warren's very true about that, if he's very clear on that, he said that he's not going to make a position on cryptocurrencies, but I would hope that he'd stick to it and at least make a small position in regards to buying put options when they do become available. I think that, he always could be right and stuff as much as I'm long term on it. But again, I'd like him to put his money where his mouth is on that because I do admire Warren Buffett. So again, enough kissing up to him, but at the same time, not going to critique him for too long. He's a very good investor for the long term, and it's maybe it's just not his playing field, and that's fine. So next up, I want to take a look here at Telegram's $1.2 billion ICO, guys. This is absolutely huge, not only for cryptocurrencies in general, the fact that Telegram, which is a very popular messaging application, not only for us here at the Data Dash channel and the Data Dash community, but along with that as well for a variety of other cryptocurrency communities. Telegram has become a huge platform for messaging and communication between a variety of different parties of different interests and different groups. So it's a really, really cool platform, all free, all awesome, to where we can have our alerts group, we can have our discussion group together. So again, this is just an absolutely awesome platform. Now, enough kissing up to Telegram. I want to go ahead and spend some time to dive in a little bit towards what they're aiming to do. So basically, a long story short, and we're going to talk about this as we go through, there was a leaked document in regards to, it was a Russian company that is, well, I'll take a look at it later. I can't remember exactly what they do now, but basically they were tied towards the Telegram team, and they released a draft for TON, which is going to be a part of the whole ICO that they're running for Telegram. So let's go ahead here and dive into it. So we obviously know it's a wide platform. There's over 200 million users, but Telegram wants to open what's known as the Telegram Open Network, or TON, and you're going to hear this throughout the entire video in regards to what TON aims to be. There's a lot of different features that are going to be built within TON, and a lot of different services to where you'll be able to use grams, the cryptocurrency that they're raising the ICO for, that is going to be used as the main currency to funnel these services, to actually utilize these services. And it's not going to just be what most people would probably think, which is, oh, is this decentralized messaging or communication on the blockchain? Well, partially that, but it's mostly due to the additional services they want to add on top of TON, okay? So let's go ahead here, let's dive into it, and I really want to focus on what they're aiming to do with TON. Again, I'm kind of skipping through a lot of this here, but this is some of the stuff that they're basically trying to do, because I really want to reiterate their ambitions with it. First and foremost, they state within the article as well that we are really seeing let me see if I actually get the quote here. This is awesome. The current state of blockchain technology resembles automobile design in 1870. It is promising and praised by enthusiasts, but inefficient and too complicated to appeal to the mass consumer. So this was seen in the rough draft that we have linked up there, and I will have linked in the description. However, I can't really dive into it because for some reason on Telegram, they don't let you view messages on the computer. Kind of stinks. But anyways, I will leave that down below for you guys to look at it. But I think this is a wonderful quote to see an ICO that is definitely trying to raise $1.2 billion, coming clean and admitting that blockchain itself right now is not practical for most mainstream applications. It's just not. And that's, as someone who's very optimistic in the space, I realize that it's still very early on and we have a long ways to go. So in realizing that, let's go ahead and take a look here, seeing as they are keeping that in mind. What are some of the concepts they want to bring to TON? The first one is TON storage. And if it doesn't give it away with the name, it's basically cloud storage, file storage, where you'll be able to, on the TON storage or the TON, the Telegram Open Network, you'll be able to store a variety of different files. Now, this is, of course, in competition with a lot of other decentralized blockchain attempts at, decentralized ways of cloud storage, such as Filecoin, Storage, Siacoin, variety of other competitors that are trying to do the same thing. So they're definitely going to have to make it, encouraging to use that platform, keep things cost efficient as well as safe, secure, and private. I think those are going to make it a winning platform. Along with that as well is the TON proxy. So the TON proxy is basically going to reach out towards the VPN market. Again, what I really like about Telegram, if you've used the application before, you'll know that they're very big on privacy. And I think this is, again, something that is perfect to have within an ICO in regards to cryptocurrencies. People are very big on privacy in the crypto space. I think it's just fundamentally a good thing to have in regards to messaging and communication, but also in regards to a lot of other things in regards to just remaining anonymous and protecting online privacy is a really big thing. Along with that as well, they have TON services. So this is kind of a broad one. TON services is going to allow people to build decentralized applications and almost service-like applications on top of TON, where you can actually earn grams, the cryptocurrency. You can service your applications out towards the user base on Telegram. So this is cool. I think it's something to look forward to. And I think, again, if you can have practical applications built inside of TON that people will be able to use for a variety of different types of topics and different use cases, I think that's something to look forward to. And the last thing as well is TON DNS, and this is something very common with most cryptos, is where you'll be able to get human readable names for a variety of accounts, smart contracts, services, and network nodes on the TON, or it feels weird saying the TON network because there's network in there, so it's kind of redundant to say that. But again, I think it's pretty standard to have something like this, to have a sense of identity that is recognizable on TON, and because of that, I think it's good that they have that built in there as well. Nothing exciting, but it's good to have a marketplace for that. So these are just some of the ambitions that they're trying to really attack here, and I think as someone quoted with inside the article, this is the Elon Musk kind of level of ambition. And I'm not like sitting here praising Elon, but one thing that Elon Musk does quite well is he aims to shoot for the stars and do 10 things at once. And that's what they're trying to do here. Most ICOs try to be either a cookie cutter, just doing the same exact thing as other projects, or they, in general, just try to aim to do one thing. Seems like, in this case, Telegram's trying to do a lot of different things with their ICO, and it might justify the idea that they're trying to raise $1.2 billion. That's a lot for any form of venture capital in the case of an initial coin offering. Still, that would be adding on another fourth or fifth of the total amount that we've already raised in ICOs. It would be huge for cryptocurrencies if Telegram actually raised that amount of money. Do I think they'll be able to do it? To be fair, as much as Telegram is a popular app, I would not doubt if they don't get all of their funding, but at the same time, I won't bet against it. Telegram has grown more and more popular. I love the application. It's my favorite messaging application out of GroupMe, even WhatsApp, all these other different messaging platforms. Telegram has consistently served as one of the most effective platforms ever. It's why I still use it. So again, if you guys want to go and check through the draft for the white paper, please go ahead and look into it, and definitely check it out for yourselves. I'll leave it linked down below. Next up, we got to talk about Kodak. So this is, whereas on the previous one, I was a little more optimistic in regards to raising an initial coin offering for a previous well-known company, Kodak is playing some dirty tricks in my mind. And this is because it's not only a publicly traded company, but one in which that has been dying for the past few years. I could keep on extending this back, but I think you'd obviously see that the chart does not take a pretty picture for Kodak. But long story short, Kodak, as you all know, is a famous photography company. They've sold cameras for quite some time, and they recently came out with an announcement yesterday during public trading hours that they were going to be launching an initial coin offering for photographers. And basically what this would do, in very simple speak, is apply blockchain technology towards both the storage and the certification of photography or work that you've done that would be protect in the sense of licensing and democratizing photography. So basically securing, if you've taken photography, that you have it on there, you control that content, you can sell it and distribute it as you'd like for people who would like to use your photography. A lot of other variety of different applications that you could apply with blockchain technology and photography. Now, here's the thing. I do not think that the idea for to provide a platform that allows users who are photographers to license their content much more fairly and to make sure that there's really no middlemen getting in the way of selling that photography, I think this is a really cool concept. But at the same time, to be fair, you do not need to raise a ridiculous ICO to do all this and make Kodak coin or whatever they're going to call it. It just seems silly to me. Again, this is a practical idea, but it's not something practical enough to raise millions in venture capital, which I know Kodak is going to do, and which is why, just like with everything that's going on Wall Street now, it's yet another, oh, let's insert blockchain into our name, or say that we're embarking on a blockchain-based project or an ICO or whatever it may be. Again, it gets old, it gets repetitive. We've seen this with previous companies where they'll go up 200 or 300% their valuation within a day or two because of a stupid announcement like this. And whether or not they're successful or not, we can obviously see it's impacted the price. And it's obviously irrational. And it just seems like a very, very sad ploy to try to bump up the stock price. And again, if you're curious about this gap here, guys, this is because it's stock markets. They have closing hours. So when the market opened up, people were trading at an even higher valuation, speculating more and more. So again, it just recovered months of lost price action due to a silly announcement that they're going to be launching an ICO. Now, I'm not saying it's impractical. Again, Kodak's a respected company. It's been around for a while, but I think it's a dying company. Again, it's a company that's gone through a variety of financial hurdles because people aren't using Kodak cameras anymore. And it might be their desperate attempt to try to stay afloat in the market, but I really don't see it as a sustainable solution. And I don't think you need to create a separate cryptocurrency or blockchain or any form of decentralized technology to really launch a platform like this. You can do this on pre-existing technology as well as other platforms that are going to come in the future. But anyways, guys, I would like to hear what you all think about this. Again, I think it's awesome to see companies raising capital through ICOs and trying to take on ambitious projects, but at the same time, we need to keep it realistic. So I'd like to hear what you all think about Telegram or Kodak's ideas for ICOs, as well as Warren Buffett. Do you think he's going to remain bearish in the long term on cryptocurrencies, or maybe soften up to it after he gets to finally read the Bitcoin white paper? I'd like to hear what you all think down in the comments down below. But until then, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Stay tuned.